So now I've moved away again. Nobody wants to keep me. I got to keep moving on.
The Last of Us, the HBO series.
Right.
Stars Pedro Pascal as Joel and Bella Ramsey as Ellie. So, excellent casting, honestly.
cast.
Received rave reviews and is heralded by many as the best live-action adaptation of a video game ever. What do you guys think about that?
I get it.
I get it, yeah.
In terms of just the quality, the respect it pays to the series, I think it gets everything right. For fans of the games, it doesn't, certain things are different, but it always adds to the lore rather than taking it away.
With like the Nick Offerman episode.
Just
right?
thinking that, Joe.
Yeah, that seemed like it was a positive ad. Like people loved that.
People love that episode.
Yeah.
It was weird though. Isn't that weird? It makes sense that you're building up these characters from the movie and stuff. But like, other than them showing up and it being empty, what relevance did that have? And they could have left and that could have just found that note and that would have been fine and understood. But
so in
character building.
in the game, you know Bill. You get to meet Bill. You go
Right.
there. So when they go to Bill's place, you actually meet Bill in the game and you do a whole mission with him. And later you find a letter that is from Frank, who it is alluded to that they were partners more than just like,
Right.
friendship level. But he wanted, so the part in that episode where Frank wants to leave, but Bill wants to stay because it's safe. Like Frank's like, I still want to live my life, like let's make it good.
Yeah.
And Bill was like, no, I'm staying here. And Frank went out and he got bit. He got infected, so he hung himself.
Oh.
That's how Frank meets his end in that. It's taking the seed from the game and it's changing it, but you get to the same result because at the end of Bill's whole mission in the game, you get the truck.
right.
Although it's done in a more exciting way, you get the truck and they go off and they get what they need from Bill. They get the truck and they're off to the next thing.
But it was a cool like Easter egg to pull out and build up a whole episode around it.
Maybe it's because Druckmann's in it, where these are the characters that he got to like make and see and develop in the game, and maybe he felt like he wasn't able to tell their story properly, and so he expanded it here.
Yeah,
is that maybe the reasoning?
Absolutely, and like Ashley Johnson, like in the final episode, where she plays Ellie's mother, and it kind of shows you, oh, that's how the immunity started.
Right.
That's never in the game, but apparently that was the story that he had written.
Yeah.
So again, it's not something that was in the game.
Yeah.
But it's something that had been in his mind for a long time.
So that's kind of cool.
And it kind of explains a potential origin for her immunity, because that's something that's never really know. So I really like it for that reason. Yeah.
But having developers be able to take something like an adaptation and not have it overlap completely, maybe have things in the games or the TV show that are key to each other, but you need to play both to get the full 100% picture.
It feels supplementary.
Cool. Yeah.
They feel like they can both exist.
But it makes perfect sense for that type of game too, because you need to replace all that like
all the action
with something, so you can really expand the story that you couldn't get to. Otherwise, your video game would have just been a movie in the first place, right?
Yeah, and like Last of Us is a very emotional tale, so you don't really need that much action. Honestly, my only complaint is that I would have taken 10% more clickers for sure.
Dude, that's why I stopped playing the game.
I know.
That's
the only thing. I was like, we could have had 10% more though, because I feel like
could have had more episodes with it.
Yeah, like middle of the series where there's that big outbreak, like they come from underneath, and the big fucking guy comes out. I feel like after that episode, there's not that many infected after that point for the rest of the series, and I'm like, but they have
in a way like maybe it's different in the game, but like the rest of the country is much less populated, so it made sense that they're like.
It's also not advancing the story time. It's not advancing the story by having these action sequences. I feel like, like, sure, it's fun for action, but it's not like this series is very respectful of your time.
Yeah,
they don't waste any fucking time.
Yeah.
But maybe I want to have my time wasted. I would just like 10% more monsters. Then season 2 has already been greenlit, so I think we're going to get a lot more.
I don't want infected. I watched the show and I was like, if this is the game, I can go play this. I don't want the clickers. I don't like that dark, creepy.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, that sound? So the series premiere was watched by 4.7 million viewers, which is the second biggest debut ever for HBO after House of the Dragon.
Damn.
So also pretty recently. House of Dragon is amazing, by the way. It's really good.
I haven't watched it yet.
Mazin and Druckmann has stated that season 2 would immediately cover The Last of Us Part 2, possibly over multiple seasons, and that their intent is to not overtake the video game series. So, again, HBO, they're not going to make the same mistake that Game of Thrones made.
Yeah.
They should have probably just stopped after season 5 and been like, all right, we'll make the rest of it someday.
Yeah.
And which makes sense because The Last of Us Part 2 is twice as long as the original game. A lot of shit happens. Those who know that a lot of shit happens. And I cannot fucking wait. I cannot wait. I'm so hyped. And according to a recent earnings report, as of literally yesterday, in the US, the show is averaging around 32 million viewers per episode. And in Europe and Latin America, it is the most watched HBO Max show of all time.
That's crazy.
Yep.
But well deserved.
Hugely successful. And I'm like, hell yeah. Fucking hell yeah. You guys got anything else you want to say about this?
No, it's great. Look forward to it.
Yep. Season 2, just get Abby. Get Abby right. She needs to be jacked. She needs to be so jacked, and that's all I care about. And more clickers. And I'm going to be on cloud 9. All right, so let's take us on to the last film. We're talking about none other than the Super Mario Bros. Movie, the good one, released by Universal Pictures, and it premiered in Canada at least April 5th, 2023. 56% critical score, which is a bit low.
Doesn't even make
I think
sense.
it may actually be up to 59. I think I looked yesterday; it was a little bit higher.
It's nonsense.
96% audience rating though, which is
makes sense.
Higher audience rating than Last of Us.
But I mean,
and this is the thing. This one really weird for me. I could see this film being a 66, because I think if it's 61 or higher, something like that, then it's considered fresh.
yeah.
But if it's below that, it's got that little green puke fucking thing. Yeah, it's rotten.
Doesn't even make sense.
And that is probably out of all of them, this is like, honestly, this is one of the most hard disagreements I have with the critical
it's unreal.
response.
I don't get it.
For some reason,
don't
critics, like critically minded people, do not.
Critics are useless.
They don't quite love this.
Critics add nothing to society.
I don't know how you can.
I've never seen a critic
maybe that's right.
score that makes sense.
Yeah.
The only time a critic score makes sense is when they happen to line up with the audience score. The audience score is a way better indicator of whether I'm going to like something or not.
Unless it's Metacritic and it's video game review scores. Because if you release DLC, like Horizon with
if something's getting review bombed for like dumb
if it turns out that the protagonist is actually a lesbian, then it's going to get review bombed, which is
that's the
just
exception.
So sad and disgusting.
What's the reason? What's the criticism?
That it feels like it has no substance, that it's a cash-in, that it lacks. Basically, everything we talked about in the before times, critics think it's just that a shameless cash grab.
I don't get it at all.
That's kind of like, because I can barely. That's like my takeaway from it.
Thin plot is what I'm seeing.
Thin plot, yeah, exactly.
A thin plot,
and I'm like, this is maybe the best kids film ever made, and you're complaining about plot. It's wild to me.
So
Here, just think about this for a second, Alex. Think about.
I can't even grasp this.
Exactly. I'll go through these bullet points I have here. And then we'll get into
do.
it because it's stressful for me.
Yeah.
And I won't be able to focus. Here's all the reasons why this film is great and should have a fucking 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
Features an all-star cast, including
Amazing
Chris
cast.
Pratt, likable guy, Anya Taylor-Joy, I Love You, Charlie Day,
Charlie Day.
Jack Black.
Black.
Peaches, the song Peaches.
Yeah.
I got home and I'm like, is this song on Apple Music? Yes, it is. Yeah. Fucking add it to the library.
Yep.
Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah, I know.
Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong.
It's insane.
Man, how? Okay, so you can have those people and it doesn't mean the film's gonna be good.
Does not.
But it's produced by Illumination.
Right.
Who, I gotta admit, not really my favorite. Not really my vibe.
Sure.
Compared to Pixar, like absolutely no contest. But they did make Despicable Me, Minions, various others.
Yep.
Secret Life of Pets, etc.
Right.
Very successful animation studio.
Up there,
they're probably like right behind Pixar in terms of that sort of animation. They took their time with this. It's not like they just tried to be like, oh, we'll just release another one.
Well, I think from what I understand, it had a lot to do with Iwata's policies in the mid 2010s, where he was trying to get Nintendo's IP out there in more mediums and more generations of people.
Diversity, yeah.
So I think from what I understand, he was really pushing this throughout the company.
Well, I trust in Iwata, so.
But I'm sure Miyamoto was all over this from every point of this process.
Well,
you know, Miyamoto
is a producer.
Yeah.
So he's one of the main producers. And after success, he's already teased future installments.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like there's going to be a lot more.
But that's I don't know how you can watch this and not see this as that. This is like, okay, go look at like Iron Man 1 for the MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a groundbreaking fucking film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like why does Jebediah betray Tony Stark? He's already one of the richest men in the world.
Yeah.
Like why does he do that? Okay. Oh,
yeah. Well,
like, what?
and just so
power,
you know,
Alex,
we're doing an
power.
MCU video
I mean-
episode. We're doing an MCU episode. Later.
yeah, I know.
So-
So, we're not going to get into that. But
No,
I'm just
no,
saying.
But it's true. I see what
It's
you're
like
saying.
at the when you are a company and you're creating a 10-year long franchise or longer, and you're saying you have to lay the foundations, and it's like you literally need to consume time within this first movie to build it out. You can't go in depth with every character to like an insane, incredible level. You're trying to build out a world.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I think they did a great job? I do. I think the fact that, like with Sonic, the problem with Sonic is that they take Sonic and they bring him to the human world, which I don't love. I love James Marsden. I think they did a great job of it.
I mean,
but
it's creepy.
I think that's a problem with a lot of movies where they try and like with Kirby the Fox Kids TV show. They don't just take Kirby, they bring him to like these two characters, this boy and this girl,
Yeah.
who are supposed to be kind of like us. There are a connection to them to ground Kirby to like us.
Yeah.
But it's like in Mario, they did that through the universe. They expanded Mario's universe, his world, his human world, which we didn't even know if he was human before. He's always so much shorter compared to Peach. They actually gave context to the games and the lore here, developing his character out even further, honestly.
Yeah.
And even reference his height with his old employer, who they're like making fun of him because he's so short.
And his old
compared to
employer
all-
is from that other game. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's a fucking Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
He's the dude from Wrecking Crew.
So it's like they're doing everything they can to
Doing
expand out the
everything.
lore.
And in an hour and a half, there's so much, like, again, similar to Last of Us, it doesn't waste any of your fucking time. It's
No.
respectful of what the story they're telling. They're not just, it's not filler.
A weak plot. Well, the plot was that Bowser's a badass. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Bowser's
so he's just,
Jack Black. What the fuck more do you want from
he's
me?
just fucking around trying to. He's in love with this princess.
And the thing is, like, that's why, like, this is a case where it's just, the critics are just straight up wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because the audience reception is not only good, it's highly positive. It's like
Yeah.
96%, yo.
Oh, it bugs
It's a
me.
loved
It
film.
really
it
bugs
bugs me too, Alex. It bugs me too. But regardless of all that, and actually Miyamoto's, he actually has come out in an interview recently. He said, I think the response from critics actually helped more people go to the film.
Really?
Yep. And I can kind of see that. Because upon release, it quickly became the highest grossing video game film adaptation of all time, doubling that of the previous record holder, Warcraft.
Doubling.
Within weeks.
Oh, doubling.
It made $888 million after a few weeks. So it
Oh.
doubled Warcraft after a couple weeks.
Gives me goosebumps.
In addition to this, it had me too, actually. It was like, seriously, right now.
Yeah.
Can you see that? It had the biggest
cold.
opening weekend.
It is cold in here. That could be it.
I was thinking of Alex. No. Alex, are you cold right now?
No.
Yeah, no,
Perfect.
you're never cold. It had the biggest opening weekend for an animated film ever, and is currently the highest grossing film of 2023.
Amazing.
At the time of recording, the film has now surpassed the billion mark. So
It's
it
unreal.
will be the highest grossing film of the year.
And I feel like there's an extra bit of
will
importance
be.
to it
Yep.
because I feel like there's still a lot of people getting back to theaters, and you need these movies to
Yes.
get people back in. And I feel like that's a big one. Like, how many people is this the first movie they've seen since COVID?
Dude, I went.
It may be mine.
There might be something to that because me and Brandon went and saw it on his birthday.
Yeah.
His birthday's April 7th, so like that was the original release date. And
Yeah.
for those who don't know Brandon, he's a hardcore Mario fan. He loves Mario so much.
So much.
So the fact that it was coming out on his birthday, and although it did come out a few days earlier, technically, still totally great. But we saw it together. It was Good Friday, so we had the day off work, and went in there. I think we went to the 3 o'clock showing because we didn't want to see 3D, and it was packed. It was
Yeah.
the most packed. I see a film probably once a month in theaters, and all throughout the pandemic. Also, I didn't give a fuck, but I would just go by myself. But yeah, it was fully packed. So many children, but it was actually like the most positive hype environment because it's fucking Mario. It's like the jolliest thing ever.
Dude, when I was there, and I went the same day as you guys, we had to go early because we had Easter stuff that day.
Yeah.
We sat midway up, and there was two kids next to us, and they must have been like 12, 13 years old, and they were dressed as Mario and Luigi. And the entire time, they were calling out all the things they could see, and it just made me so happy to be like, I know this, but to see two young kids this involved in Mario and the lore of Mario,
it's so,
oh
it's
my
so,
god, I was so hyped for it.
It's JoyCircuit is our channel. It's very joyful, extremely joyful,
Amazing.
and similar I had experience. There was a little girl behind me. She sounded like she was probably like 5 or 6 maybe. And she was talking about all the things she knew about Mario. And I was like, man, this is like filling my heart with like a lot of feelings. Yeah.
It's something the world needs.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. I'm all for it. The critics got that one wrong in my fucking opinion. But I shouldn't swear when I'm talking about Mario though.
And this is the biggest thing. I can't, like The Last of Us. There's a limit to where we can go with this, right? It has to catch up to the games and stuff. Mario,
it has to be a smart adaptation in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, with Mario, we have decades to work off of.
Yeah.
Not just that, but where does this end? Like we had a huge. I was honestly
Hopefully never.
shocked that we had such an integration of the Mario Kart with DK in their culture, because I was like, man, that's a whole movie in itself. Some baddie shows up and they have to race to like save the thing, and they just a whole Mario Kart movie. They didn't do that. They had a whole Mario Kart section on Rainbow Road. It was cool.
Do you think there's gonna be a Luigi's Mansion?
100,000,000% there's gonna be
Charlie
Luigi's
Day
Mansion.
just getting spooked out the whole time. Sounds awesome.
They like did a little short of it. Apparently, there's like they sample Luigi's Mansion when he's in there in the forest in the Deadlands or whatever at the beginning.
Yeah. Mansion vibes.
100%, we're gonna get a Luigi's Mansion movie.
Great.
We're gonna obviously Donkey Kong movie is gonna be the next one probably.
Yeah.
If not a Super Mario Brothers 2, a Donkey Kong spin-off.
You'll get a Super Mario Bros. Trilogy, and then probably spin-off films.
Dude, I think the Nintendo Cinematic Universe has now begun, and we're gonna get.
So is NCU a term that has been coined on the internet, or is this something you're saying?
Well, I haven't seen it, but I guarantee other people have already said it.
You heard it here, NCU, folks.
I guarantee other people have said it, but I have not heard it. But
Joe, how do you feel about all this?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Honestly, like, I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it, but like I was unsure of, like I'm picky about what I see in theaters.
Yeah.
To me, like I'll go to a theater if it's going to be something like big explosion, special effects.
A lot of
something
people,
that will really do justice. I haven't gone to see it because I didn't know if this was the type of movie that would really do justice versus just waiting and watching it in my own
I think
house.
you should see it in theaters if you can, because
But Stacey's been bugging me.
the
to see
CGI
it,
is
the
beautiful.
thing. Like Stacey's bugged me multiple times. She wants to go see the Super Mario movie.
You should go see the CGI. At the very least, it's a visual feast. So I get it. Only going to film for big spectacles. You know, your Marvels, your Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I think this is like awesome. Like it's like a Pixar film. I would want to see anything that visual. I would say see it in theaters if you can. But it'll also be lovely on a small screen. And
I've got it like a 150-inch projector at home. For
that's
my
true.
home theater,
We know.
so
We know.
That's the thing. Like it's got to be like it's got to add to that.
Yeah.
Usually for me to go to a theater.
I don't think people understand what this has opened up. Like the possibilities. I don't think you guys like the fact that we could now get like a Metroid trilogy.
Oh fuck! That
We
would
could
be
get
so good.
an indefinite amount of the Legend of Zelda series, probably starting with Ocarina of Time.
Do you do CGI with Zelda though?
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
You start Link waking up in that bedroom, complete CGI and Kokiri Forest, and you go through a much more in-depth, like detailed
But does
world.
Link talk? He would have to.
He would have to, but Mario didn't talk at the beginning of the first couple games either. Really,
Mario never really just has been
true
for words.
So you could make it work, and that's the thing about this though. A lot of people were questioning Chris Pratt as Mario, and it felt so natural. It didn't feel weird at all.
Yeah, because he's not an Italian; he's a New York Italian.
Yeah,
Makes sense that an American would play him.
it all worked out so well, and just seeing this work, it's like, God,
I like Chris
what
Pratt.
are you gonna do with Zelda, Samus, F-Zero, like Kirby?
Of all the ones you mentioned, like Metroid absolutely gets me the most excited because I've recently over the last few years like come to really appreciate Metroid. Samus Returns, Metroid Dread, Metroid Prime Remastered, all so good, and I'm like sad I never played them before, but also happy that I didn't play them before because I was a fucking lunatic in the past. So
And
I hated it.
Outside of Donkey Kong and Zelda, Metroid's the easiest to do because there's actual lore in Metroid.
Yeah.
So we show like her parents dying and being raised by the what are they called, the Chozos or whatever, the bird guys.
It would have to be a teen it would be
It
more of
would
a
be.
teen audience, I think.
Because it'd be a lot darker.
Yeah,
But you could easily
I think
make a trilogy.
It
against
sounds so
this and that.
exciting, so exciting to me.
It's amazing. I'm so excited. Oh my god.
Yeah, no,
Amazing times.
I'm very happy that it was as good as I thought it would be. I'm surprised that it was as good as the trailers made it look.
You know what they'll do? They'll build up an entire NCU, and then it'll culminate in a
Smash Brothers, 100%. Joe, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, all these Kendrick characters were in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
Why not just like what's going to stop them from going to all these companies and being like, we're doing Smash Brothers. Give us everybody.
I don't think there's limits anymore because the thing about this time that we're living in, nerds are, again, like I said earlier, the nerds have the power, more power now. So,
Yep.
oh man, it's not stopping anytime soon.
Oh my god, it's so exciting.
When the world
guys.
ends, it'll end. And
Well, that could happen soon.
that could happen at any moment. Any shout-outs of things that we didn't talk about, like really good films from this time? There's actually everything we've talked about in this section. We've all had generally positive opinions about them.
Sure.
So based on the titles we have just discussed, what is your favorite adaptation from this period, Alex?
Oh, easily Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Easily, not even close for me.
For all intents and purposes, Last of Us is the TV series, one of the best things I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Joe?
I mean, I haven't seen Super Mario, so The Last of Us for me.
Yes, finally, I got it. I got one.
I would say also.
Now it's chaos. This is when paper breaks down.
Scroll up, Jeremy. Just scroll up.
Castlevania Netflix, Detective Pikachu, Angry Birds Movie 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2,
Those are both great.
Werewolves Within, Uncharted, Cuphead, Halo, Last of Us, Mario.
Yeah, Castlevania's up there for TV for me too, and Sonic 2. I think is a
Castlevania
really
would be
good
number
movie, too.
2, and yeah,
But
I don't know what the film would be for me, but doesn't matter. Now
Mario.
I'm all fucked up. What about you, Joe? Last of Us. You already said
yeah.
Last of Us. Yeah, I just wanted to hear you say it again. All right, so now we're gonna do a few shout-outs too. These are things that I don't think are video game adaptations. Correct me if I'm wrong. Shout-out number 1. This is a show I love this show. This is one of my favorite shows. I've always been like, you guys should watch this show, and I still think you should. And it's Mythic Quest. Premiered on February 7th, 2020. Now, it's not a video game adaptation at all, but it serves, I think, as a great example of how to tell stories about video games and the games industry in the right way. And it really nails this. And it does it in a fun way.
Kind of like Silicon Valley, except for video games.
Yeah, but is Silicon Valley a comedy?
Yep.
Okay, so then yes, that's
It's not
absolutely
comedy.
true. Yeah.
Yep.
It's created by Rob McElhenney, Megan Gans, and Charlie Day. It's
McElhenney.
again, Charlie Day
I know.
has had he's not on the show, but he's one of the key writers producers.
Charlie Day, man.
Megan Gans is fantastic. She works. They all are from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Who's Megan Gans?
She's a writer. If you
Okay.
watch the Sunny podcast,
Right.
which is very successful,
She's on. I think I saw her
She's
name
the moderator
on Twitter.
She's the moderator, and she's been like
Right.
one of the main writers with them. She's been a writer in the industry
Right.
for a long time. She does a lot of TV writing and stuff. But it was created by them, and the show follows a fictional video game studio producing a popular MMORPG known as Mythic Quest, and it's hilarious. Honestly, the cast, a lot of crossover from Sunny. So if you're a fan of that, you'll like that. But the characters are just really good. The story's really entertaining, and it honestly it's a great workplace comedy in a way, but it also will catch you off guard. Ubisoft assisted with development of the series. They provided in-game assets as well as art.
Wow.
And they provided inside video game development and industry approaches to help the show remain authentic. And that's
cool.
the thing. This show feels extremely authentic. Poppy, shout-out to Poppy. And then shout-out number 2, again, not an adaptation, I think.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners on Netflix. This is one of the better animes I've ever watched, and apparently critics agree because it has a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
96% audience score. So, although it's not an adaptation, this would
I guess you
technically
have
be
to condition on how many people reviewed it, right?
a lot of people.
A
Probably.
lot of times it's a lot less for these really high rating ones.
Yeah. Well, again, Joe, you don't trust the critics, and honestly, after the Mario thing, I'm not sure that I do either. But it's technically not a video game adaptation.
I haven't finished it. It is good though.
Yeah, I did finish it. I rushed through the last few episodes, and I wish I did slow down a bit.
Yeah.
But it's not a video game adaptation, really, because it's actually canon. It's a prequel based on the video games. It's actually, unlike Pokemon, where it's kind of could maybe technically be an adaptation. I don't know.
Right.
This is like, no, this is part of the lore of the
Right.
actual video
It
game.
happened in the same universe.
Happened in the same universe,
Right.
exactly. Yeah, it's not a retelling. Received highly positive reviews, as I've said, praising the characters, world building, animation. Yeah, the world building. Honestly, I hadn't played Cyberpunk before this.
Yeah.
Always wanted to. Was kind of waiting for the update to be at like a workable level. And I watched this, and then I finally did play Cyberpunk, and I loved it. And then I never played again, but I want to. But I'm running out of time.
Yeah.
I'm running out of time in my life.
Another one that's related is Arcane.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Arcane was sick too,
That has
Joe.
100%.
What is
critic
Arcane?
rating.
I don't even know what
League of
Arcane is.
Legends.
You're right. I forgot about that, Joe.
That has even more critic reviews than Cyberpunk, but it also has 100%
Wow.
critic
Arcane
rating,
was
and it's a
sick.
96% audience rating.
Good
And
call,
it
watched
was
this
great.
too?
It was great.
It was
Netflix
good.
series, animated, yeah.
Oh, really? Cool. I didn't even know
Very
about
good.
that.
Very good.
Cool.
We also missed The Witcher prequel.
Well, the thing is, The Witcher. I thought about The Witcher, but I'm
Yeah.
like, The Witcher's not based off it's not a video
True,
game adaptation.
you're right.
It's a book adaptation.
I guess contrary to popular.
But I did have it on this list at one
Yeah.
point, but I was like,
you're right.
the video game is an adaptation of the book.
True.
But you could say
and
without
the TV show.
without the video game, you wouldn't have had.
I remember my
Yeah,
notes that
that's
said not a video game adaptation at all, as it's based off a book, but is heavily informed. I think I wrote
Yes.
is heavily informed.
But it's
by
still part
the
of this
video
new
game.
era where they're just killing these adaptations, right?
The Henry
Arcane,
Cavill
Joe, good call.
era.
Yeah, the
fucking
Cyberpunk one reminded me because I'm like Netflix series.
Dude, Arcane is sick. When we
Yeah.
played League way back, there was like no lore. Like it was bare
Yeah,
minimum.
yeah.
Then they refreshed the world and they've been building up the lore, even in the game and what they add to it. In the last decade, because we played what 2012, 2011, 2012, 2013. But Arcane, man, that was with Caitlyn and Vi or whatever, or V, whatever her name is, and Jinx.
That was
Yeah,
cool.
that was really cool.
All right.
Really
I don't know
good.
anything about League, so I can't imagine.
I didn't know any lore before going into that show.
Yeah.
I did know lore going into that show, but it expands the characters out in a way that like you really don't get to see otherwise.
The only thing I really know about League of Legends is that it definitely ruins relationships. So one more shout out that I've written down here, and I watched this film this week, so this is the freshest in my mind. Tetris, another Apple TV original.
Great movie.
Premiered on March 31st, 2023. So literally a week before the Mario Bros. Movie. 81% critic rating, 91% audience rating. Not a video game adaptation per se, but rather a fictionalized retelling of the true story of the legal battle to secure the international property rights to Tetris. Weirdly enough, I love legal
Yeah.
dramas.
Jeez.
This isn't really that. This is more of a globetrotting adventure to secure the rights. But I really like this.
Man, Taron
Yeah.
Egerton or whatever.
Taron Egerton, Kingsman Rocketman, is
Great
the main character who plays the Dutch video game designer and entrepreneur Hank Rogers.
Yeah.
Great, yeah.
He's a great actor.
Rocketman,
But-
love it. Great movie.
As somebody who loves video games as a whole, and especially Nintendo, seeing like when he went to go see Nintendo and they invited him there, I was Taron was there, so I was like, he's gonna go see the Game Boy. I know it's gonna be the Game Boy. And then they walked in, I was like, it's the Game Boy.
And at the end, Buddy, who he tried to get the money from originally. Buddy's just there with his Game Boy. He's like so happy playing it. And like, I love Tetris, and the
Yeah.
Game Boy version of Tetris is still the best version of Tetris. It finally came out on the Switch fucking emulator.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit. Tetris it's so good, man. I love Tetris.
I love the history of video games, and I thought this was an incredible movie for that. And again, that I know they did a lot to like it's not all accurate,
Yeah.
but when they're leaving that building in Russia, and the goddamn creator of Tetris pulls up, he's like, "Get in," and then the creator of Tetris is driving as a getaway driver this video game
Yeah.
publisher guy,
Yuri
and
or
then
whatever.
in the back seat is the president, like vice president of Nintendo of America, and they're driving. They're trying to race to the airport to get away from the KGB. It's like the most incredible thing. I'm just like, this. How is this real?
I really loved it. Honestly. And like the cool parts were like there's a car chase, and then like certain parts of the movie I just think of the
goes-
car chase. It goes pixelated for a
Yes,
few minutes.
yeah.
And I think that's really cool. Funny thing, I would say the version of this film that I was watching did not have any subtitles.
really?
and I was too lazy to change to fix that.
Yeah.
So and there's a lot of Russian dialogue and a lot of Japanese dialogue, and I would say this film's good enough that it actually didn't take away from my enjoyment. It actually added to it because I was like, I kind of think I know what they're saying, but I can't confirm. And so I watched this. Like honestly, 30% of this film, I had absolutely no idea what they were saying, and I loved it.
It was a great movie. It honestly is.
Yeah. And Joe, you fell asleep in 20
I
minutes.
watched 20 minutes and I turned it off.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
jeez.
fine.
But maybe it just didn't get going yet. I don't know.
I feel like it's funny because I feel like you actually really would like this. I'm
Yeah.
actually surprised that give it another try sometime.
Yeah,
Me,
I'll
I'm
give it another
I'm
go.
such an emotional, moody person that like many times I watch a film like I hate that film, but then I think back a few years later, I'm like, yeah, but what was I going through at that time? And then I've been reevaluating lots of things lately, and it's like, well, that's actually pretty fucking good. Yep. So that's the rise of the video game adaptation.
Yeah.
And now we're going to be moving into the future. And
Yeah.
the future is exciting because anything could happen,
Yeah.
you know? And everything will happen, theoretically.
I mean, we already talked about Nintendo. Obviously, that's a big.
Nintendo
part
will.
of the future.
Nintendo is eternal.
Yeah.
And I feel like Nintendo's dominance, although they've gone through trials and tribulations, it's kind of inevitable also.
I agree.
Nintendo is
They are
Thanos.
inevitable. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the future, we're just going to briefly discuss 8 video game adaptation prospects to look out for in the future.
Okay.
And if you guys want to add any things that I missed, feel free to shout it out.
Sure.
So I'm going by order of like what's expected to be releasing. Twisted Metal TV
Right.
series developed by Sony Pictures Television and PlayStation Productions. So this will be probably the next Sony Pictures thing that's released, video game adaptation. It's already been completely filmed in 2022. It's releasing on July 27th, 2023 on Peacock.
Excited. Anthony Mackie's a great actor.
Did you watch the trailer?
I did not.
At
No.
the end of the trailer, it's all very cool, post-apocalyptic, you know, cars and shit. The last 3 seconds, fucking, what's the clown's name?
Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth, Sweet Tooth tease.
Sick.
You see him like giggling, and you see the back of his head,
That's awesome.
and he's like, "Oh, you greasy bastard."
That's exciting.
It looks. I honestly, the thing is, like Peacock, you can't even watch Peacock in
Right.
Canada. So you might have to
It'll be
illegally
on
download it
something,
or
though, I'm
something.
sure.
I don't do that though.
They'll have to give the rights to someone. Like, that'd be kind of dumb.
The next one, and I watched the trailer for this morning.
Right.
Gran Turismo, and it's releasing on August 11th, so pretty soon.
Nice.
Yep, this will probably be the next one the next big-ish
Right.
after Mario, which is totally different wheelhouse. But
Right.
all right, so Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is the next one we're going to briefly discuss.
I'm excited for that.
It will feature Shadow the Hedgehog.
It should
Confirmed.
feature Shadow the Hedgehog.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
And I know you love Adventure 2 Battle.
It's Adventure 2 is by far my favorite Sonic. I played
Yeah.
Sonic, Sonic 2, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 3, but like
In a series of
Sonic Adventure 2, man, that
I
is
know,
one
you've
hell of a
always loved
game.
it. You've
As a
always loved it.
standalone video game, it's just a solid fucking game.
Yep.
Don't worry, Joe. There's lots of time for food. We'll get food.
Is that the one with City Escape? Is first
Yes,
level?
Joe, City Escape.
Okay.
Yes.
I love that one too.
There you go.
In a long list of games that are not as good as people think they are, I have nothing bad to say about that opinion.
Anybody
I
who
feel
plays,
like Sonic in general is not as good as people think it is.
I
I say that as someone who likes Sonic.
I
Adventure
still
2's good.
sometimes randomly have the City Escape music
It's
just
so
pop
good.
in my head.
dude, Live and Learn and
I've
City
played
Escape
City
are
Escape.
both fantastic.
I've played that one level. I never
it's
got
good.
past that. 'cause
It was
I
a good
never had
game.
GameCube
It takes some
and shit.
time to get a handle on it, but then it's a great game.
Dude,
Probably-
when you get to S level on City Escape,
I won't.
there's very few games in life where you play and you get so good that you know how hard to like drift on every turn. But when you're playing that game and you're at max speed of Sonic on that board going down there, man, that feels
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
does
I
feel
can't.
good.
I don't even know. I can't even describe. It just feels slick as hell. And you're flying through that game, bouncing off robots, hitting every boost. That's a good level, man. That's a good level.
I know people love it, and I have played City Escape. And I'm like, yeah, I see why people love it for
Man,
sure.
it's good. That could be great.
Yesterday, Sonic 5 was trending on Twitter.
Sonic
Yesterday,
5.
yeah.
Ooh. I want Rouge too. I want Rouge the Bat. I don't know if she'll be in there,
We'll see.
but she should be.
It also remains to be seen if Jim Carrey will reprise his role as Dr. Robotnik,
No
as
way.
the actor is reportedly taking a break from the industry.
He better
Yeah.
fucking
And the
come
producers
back.
have commented that they wouldn't try to recast the role.
Oh, no.
So if he's not in, then they'll have some other villain.
They'll fill-
He said he's so sick of Hollywood and all this like stuff that's going on with celebrities. And
Proper
things.
Canadian.
He should do it.
thing.
He should do it for the kids, though.
Do it for the kids.
Do
Jim.
it for the kids.
But it's already got a release date, December 20th, 24, which happens to be the same day as Avatar 3. So I'm predicting they will shift.
Dude,
the date.
Avatar was pretty sick too.
Avatar
though.
2 is better than Sonic 2, and I'm
Well,
assuming it's better.
I think it may be better, but
Yeah.
Avatar 2 was pretty good. But Sonic 2 was really good too.
Yeah. I will probably watch Sonic at some point.
Avatar was good though.
Yeah. So the next one here we're going to talk about here. Anything else to say about Sonic?
Nope.
We're good? Okay. So the next one is kind of a callback to something we talked about in the before times. Return to Silent Hill. So Christoph Gans, who was the director of the Silent Hill film that we spoke about earlier, he's set to return as director, which is interesting because there was a sequel to the original Silent Hill film
Right.
that was not directed by him.
Oh,
It's totally not liked. People hate it. But this one is based on Silent Hill 2, the video game, and the new film will have no connection to the 2006 film that he
didn't have connection.
that
to.
he did make.
Oh,
So it's not a sequel to the one he directed. It's also not a sequel to the one he didn't direct.
it's a brand new.
It's a reboot, if you will.
It's been a while. Good call.
Yeah, and it is part of the relaunch of the Silent Hill brand to be accompanied by new video games. If you're
Nice.
if you're in the know, there's been rumors forever, and Konami's even recently confirmed that there is actually Silent Hill games coming.
Konami doesn't deserve the IP they have.
They don't, but I still hold out hope that they will.
Yeah,
they will come
their
good.
their pachinko machines weren't making as much as they thought they would, so they came back to video games.
The Silent Hill 2 video game trailer that I saw looked very good. I like the original film. I like the director. I'll probably see this in theaters, and I'll probably really like this film
Yeah,
as a horror junkie. It could release as early as late 2023. It seems like it may already be filming. Like it could be filming literally right this moment.
well,
It's pretty deep into production, actually.
you should roll this conversation if like after anything else related to this into that because they're the same company or whatever.
Oh, that's true. Speaking of Konami, so there's Castlevania. We all loved it.
We all
That's
loved it.
one good thing they've done
That's one good thing
in the
they've done.
last decade. Castlevania Nocturne. So the new series that's in development at Netflix.
Yeah.
And I'm stoked. I think it'll probably be even better than the one we already got.
Yeah, it bugs me. It bugs me that they're coming back because like I'm glad they're using their IP, but I hate their business practices for the last decade.
Okay, yeah.
And it's like Castlevania was such a good animated show, and I'm so happy they're continuing it.
Yeah.
But fuck Konami.
Yeah.
I really was hoping Sony would end up fucking just buying all their IP from them. I was really hoping that would end up.
I was kind of hoping that too because they would do it.
I
well.
know.
I'm sure this will be fantastic.
Was there a change in leadership or something? This is such a drastic turn from what was happening.
I think it's
just
just
a couple years
pandemic.
ago.
It's like no one wants to go to play these pachinko games
maybe,
anymore.
yeah.
Maybe I have no idea. Since we're on the Konami thing, this is Konami. That's the most Nova Scotian way to say that fucking name. Death Stranding.
oh yeah, true.
Now the man behind Metal Gear worked with Konami many years, of course.
Yep, Mr. Kojima.
I feel like I'm going to see Norman Reedus as Sam.
I mean,
Sam Bridges.
It seems like they would be available. Like they're not like
They love Kojima.
yeah.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's already been confirmed. It's definitely going to happen quicker than the Metal Gear Solid movie that's been in development hell for like 20 years
Which
now.
is crazy because
Right.
it'd be such an easy movie you would think
Yeah.
to make, like such a clear transition
Yep.
to movie. It would be amazing.
I mean, the first game
yeah,
is literally a 3-hour video game.
yeah,
So you can make an hour and a half film and it would be awesome.
yeah. Just as like a spy film.
Be
It's like every
good.
other.
You'd be so good, especially if Oscar Isaac is Snake. I think that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
He looks like give him a bandana,
yeah. He'd be great. Sick.
give him like some get him smoking cigarettes or something. And
I'm excited
yeah,
for that when it eventually comes.
Metal Gear Solid,
Yeah, great.
such a great game. The next one, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Director is Chad Stahelski, who is the man behind the John Wick series.
Wow.
Damn.
That's crazy.
That's hype. Yeah, that's
Can you
hype.
imagine John Wick but with the friggin' samurai sword?
That's unreal.
See, I'm not really an action film person, but even I like John Wick.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's something incredible about a well choreographed fight scene.
Did you see the newest John Wick?
It tickles
4?
me in such a weird way.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
Yeah, I
Apparently,
saw
it's
that
the best
movie.
one.
That was the first movie I've seen in theater since COVID. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So good news regarding this. Script is finished.
Ooh,
The producers said recently that they would like the film to feature an entirely Japanese cast.
That's sick.
Possibly even filmed in Japanese.
that's amazing.
That's what I would love.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll go for Japanese dialogue in the end, but it should absolutely be a Japanese cast.
Completely agree.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Makes so much
Well,
sense.
the game was inspired by Japanese films to begin with, right?
And you had the option of I changed it to Japanese voiceover immediately.
I only did Japanese too.
Yeah, I did too. It just felt weird.
It had Zoro's voice actor from One Piece as the main guy. So
Yeah.
and he's a samurai in One Piece. So
Oh,
that
yeah,
for
yeah.
me is just
That's everything you need.
yeah.
So yeah, like anything involved with Sony, I have a lot of faith in. Nintendo, same thing. Konami, I'm unsure. But all we can really go on is the Netflix adaptation of Castlevania, which is
Fantastic.
high quality entertainment.
Yeah.
So this brings us on to the last thing, which I've written down here with my fingers. Untitled Detective Pikachu sequel.
Right.
And that's literally the name of it.
Right.
It was announced before the release of the original film. So they had the balls to announce it before the first one came out.
Right.
And then, like, however many years later, there's still basically no information on it. But they also have confirmed that, yes, it's still going to happen. Untitled Detective Pikachu sequel. So as early as February this year, reports indicate that the film is still in active development. And in March, apparently negotiations have been underway for a director and a screenwriter.
I don't know what the hell it would even
it's
be.
in active development, but they also don't have a director, and they don't have a screenwriter, which means it's not written. And the first one was so successful, and I'm like, it's a weird one. It's a weird one.
Dude, the Pokemon Company just does weird shit. They just do whatever the hell they want. It doesn't always make sense.
They released their games too quick, and the movies never happen. But they announced them before the first one even releases.
Like, I thought it wrapped up fairly well, unless we're just taking that character and going off. Like, Ryan Reynolds isn't in Pikachu anymore, so how are you going to have...
Maybe that is the whole up. They're like, shit, we kind of, we announced the sequel, but we didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Now they're probably just like, well, we should probably get on that.
And Ryan Reynolds is like bigger than ever, and also like, is Ryan Reynolds gonna have time? Like, he's
Maybe-
Deadpool. He also owns a football team, which that's like seems to be his main passion in life now.
Maybe
which
you
is
would,
lovely.
he would have to be the star, and he opens his own detective agency called Detective Pikachu, and it's him and his Pikachu. The Pikachu isn't the detective anymore, but he uses that as like his marketing, his hook.
I would like that.
It's a Detective Pikachu, which he has a Pikachu.
It will
that
be
would
something
be the
funny.
only way.
It will be something clever like that. I think it'll be something that no one has really thought of.
And somebody comes that
Nothing
leads.
obvious.
It's a mystery that leads to like Giovanni and Team Rocket. That'd be sick.
Yeah. Yep.
A Team Rocket related.
Mewtwo was sick in the original film, though.
Yeah, it was really
so
cool.
sick.
It sounds like with the progress they have, maybe we should send this podcast to them. They might need the help.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean,
They still have to pay for Ryan Reynolds, though. That's the big thing now.
yeah, they can't afford Ryan Reynolds. They definitely can't afford us.
Yeah. True.